In the previous video, we observed Monaco's elite elegance from a distance. Tonight, we move closer to understand how power is expressed without words. In Monaco, supercars are not trophies. They are tools. Imagine Monaco's billionaire women arriving this way. Or that effortless, composed, unquestioned. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is explained. If you understand this language of power, comment yes. And subscribe if you're ready to step closer into a world most people are never meant to touch. The first thing Monaco's billionaire women introduce is never themselves. It's the car. Before a word is spoken, before a name is known, the supercar has already delivered the message. Not about wealth, but about position. In Monaco, people don't ask who you are. They observe how you arrive. A certain model, a specific color. Even the way the door opens tells insiders everything they need to know. This isn't chance. It's design. For these women, a supercar functions like a silent introduction, precise, controlled, impossible to ignore. It removes the need for explanations. There's no handshake, no small talk, no announcement. The signal has already been sent. And those who understand it adjust their behavior instantly without being told to. To outsiders, it looks effortless, almost casual. But within Monaco's elite circles, nothing about this moment is accidental. Every detail is calculated to establish distance, authority, and respect without creating noise. And yet, this is only the surface. Because once the message is delivered, another question quietly forms in the background. What exactly are these cars saying, and to whom? In Monaco, choosing the wrong supercar speaks louder than choosing the right one. For billionaire women, power is not shown by owning the most expensive vehicle, but by selecting the one that fits the moment, the location, and the audience. A Lamborghini can command attention in one setting, yet feel out of place in another. A Rolls-Royce may signal authority at sunset, but restraint during the day. Every choice is deliberate. Every mistake is noticed. This is why these women rarely follow trends. Trends attract attention. Authority avoids it. Instead, they choose cars that align with their position, vehicles that blend dominance with restraint. Insiders recognize this immediately. Outsiders rarely do. What appears effortless is actually strategic. The car becomes a form of social calibration, adjusting how others approach, observe, or step back. Conversations change. Access shifts. Expectations reset, all without a single word exchanged. And here's the part most people never consider. Sometimes the most powerful signal isn't the car chosen, but the car deliberately not chosen. So why would someone with unlimited access choose restraint over spectacle? And what does that decision quietly control next? In Monaco, color is never decoration. It's declaration. For billionaire women, the shade of a supercar speaks long before the engine does. Gold is not chosen to impress. It's chosen to be recognized by those who already belong. White doesn't suggest innocence. It signals precision and control. Black isn't about mystery, it establishes distance. These choices are intentional, measured, and deeply understood within elite circles. To the untrained eye, it looks like personal taste. But in reality, color functions as a code, a way to state presence without disruption. The wrong color can invite the wrong attention. The right one quietly sets boundaries. And once those boundaries are established, behavior around them changes instantly. This is why Monaco's most powerful women rarely experiment in public. They don't test reactions. They already know the outcome. Their vehicles blend seamlessly into the environment they command, never competing for attention, only confirming position. Yet here's where it becomes even more intriguing. Because while most people assume color is chosen for visibility, sometimes it's chosen to make certain people invisible. So, who exactly disappears when the right color arrives, and why does that matter more than being seen at all? True power begins long before the engine turns on. For Monaco's billionaire women, a supercar is not just a means of movement, it is a device for controlling space. The moment the door closes, the world outside adjusts. Distances are set. Access is defined. Time bends slightly in their favor. They arrive when they choose, leave when they decide, and never wait to be directed. This control changes everything. There is no hesitation, no dependency, no need to negotiate presence. The car creates a private sphere within a public space, allowing them to observe without being approached, to move without interruption. Others instinctively step back, sensing an invisible boundary they cannot cross. To observers, it may look like confidence. To insiders, it's something else entirely: autonomy. The supercar removes uncertainty. It ensures that every interaction happens on their terms, not someone else's schedule. And yet, the most fascinating part isn't the control itself. It's how seamlessly this power operates so quietly that many never realize it's happening at all. Which raises a deeper question. If control is established without effort, who is actually being managed, and how early does that process begin? Not everyone is meant to get close, and in Monaco, supercars make that decision instantly. For billionaire women, a supercar quietly determines who belongs nearby and who does not. It shapes proximity before a conversation can even begin. Some people slow their steps. Others stop entirely. A few are allowed closer, not because they asked, but because the signal permitted it. This is not arrogance, it's efficiency. The car creates a visible line without confrontation. There is no rejection, no explanation, no awkward exchange. Access is either granted or removed long before words are necessary. Those who understand this system adjust naturally. Those who don't remain on the outside, often without realizing why. What makes this powerful is its subtlety. No rules are announced, no barriers are built, yet the hierarchy holds perfectly. The supercar becomes a moving boundary, protecting privacy, while reinforcing status, all in plain sight. And the most effective part, no one feels excluded by force. They exclude themselves. Which leads to a revealing question. If access is filtered this early and this quietly, what happens when someone is intentionally allowed closer? And what does that permission truly mean? In Monaco, change is noticed faster than excess. For billionaire women, keeping the same supercar over time is never about habit. It's strategy. Consistency signals that nothing needs to be proven or reintroduced. The car becomes familiar, and in elite circles, familiarity means permanence. When something remains unchanged, it reflects confidence in one's position. Frequent changes invite curiosity. Stability closes questions. By staying consistent, these women allow their presence to blend into the environment. The supercar becomes part of the landscape, quietly reinforcing status without explanation. People recognize it instantly. Expectations are already set before it arrives. Authority doesn't need refreshing. This long-term approach creates something stronger than attention: predictability. And predictability builds trust, boundaries, and respect at once. It tells others this position is not temporary or reactive. But beneath this calm exterior lies a deliberate choice. Because when a billionaire woman finally changes her car, it's never accidental, and it always means something is about to shift. The most powerful signal in Monaco is never repeated. Once the car is chosen, the color set and the pattern established, Billionaire women rarely add anything more. They don't reinforce their presence. They don't remind others who they are. Silence does that work for them. At this level, repetition weakens authority. Power is strongest when it feels permanent, when it no longer needs motion to be noticed. The supercar remains, behavior stays consistent, and the environment adjusts around them. People remember without being reminded. Boundaries hold without being defended. This is where luxury becomes dominance. Not by overwhelming attention, but by becoming expected, normalized, untouchable. The supercar stops signaling and becomes a fixed point in Monaco's elite rhythm. And once something reaches that stage, it stops asking for attention, which creates the final tension. If silence speaks this loudly, what happens when it's deliberately broken? Because in Monaco, change is never random. In Monaco, luxury is never just about what you own, it's about what you communicate without words. Through supercars, billionaire women signal authority, distance, and permanence, quietly shaping the world around them. What appears effortless is carefully designed. What feels calm is deeply controlled. And what seems ordinary to outsiders carries meaning only a few truly understand. This isn't a story about cars. It's a story about power expressed through restraint and silence. So ask yourself, if true authority doesn't seek attention, how would you recognize it when it passes right in front of you? If this perspective resonated, leave a comment and subscribe to The Silent Lion. Thank you for watching.